hello and welcome to Table Talk on Benue Television. I'm very glad that you're still there watching us live. And Table Talk, as you know, is a program that analyzes issues as critically as they are. Today's edition of the program will be taking a look at, accident, emergency management and response. When accidents occur, there needs to be some swift response from professionals who would know how to handle these people. Most persons have lost their lives in the course of mismanagement and mishandling of their bodies in the course of an accident or after accident. And for this singular reason, we want to take a look at how these can be managed, very well, so that these people have their lives saved. My name is Japhet Kwahom, and to do justice to this very important topic will be Honorable Gaddafi Asemanya Jr. He's a former senior special assistant to the Benue State, former Benue State Governor on Public Utilities and Critical Infrastructures, and then former head of Operations Benue State Task Force on Petroleum Price Monitoring Committee, and former chairman Nigerian Association of Small and Medium Enterprises, NASMEN, Benue State Chapter, and current National Publicity Secretary of the Nigerian Association of Small and Medium Enterprises, NASME, in Abuja. And so this is a man with a very huge, profile, and he has worked in different places and has gamut of experience to share with us. But of course, I would not forget to say that he is the CEO and MD, TRAFC, is in charge of management of road, accidents, and of course the victims. How he's been one of the persons responding to most of the calls when there are accidents and all of that. It could be domestic or at whatever degree. Now, Honorable Gaddafi Asemanya is right here to do justice to this topic. I'd like to welcome you to the studios of Benue Television once again.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yes.
Good morning, Benue State.
Good morning. I think the viewer may be slightly not happy with you because you have been away for a very long time, and we're wondering what happened, that you've not appeared on television for quite some time. And even if the viewer is not angry, I think I want to be the one on their behalf to be. So what has happened?
Nothing much. It's just because of the tax that we are facing. You will know that in a recent time, for the past 6 months, we are up and doing.
Yes.
In the area of rescuing victims of road crashes in various angles in the state. And we are also, you can't cheat nature. We are also on the vanguard. We are the only NGO in Nigeria that provide services for free ambulance services for women in labor. And every 24 hours we are up there at the Benue State University Teaching Hospital. Even right now as I speak to you, I'm just coming out from the place because of a critical case that the hospital has helped us to reconcile somebody who has left home for over 40 years. They thought he's dead, but some group of unscrupulous individuals.
Over how many years?
Over 40 years the man left. The elder brother, who is a retired military officer, took him to Kano in the name of to go and give him a better life. During the Metasine riot, that was the time the man disappeared. And not just to appear on the 23rd of July, where the man was found on the road, drugged by some people. Probably because of what the governor has put in place. Because the governor was combat ready for the protesters to keep peace and to protect lives and properties of Benue sons and daughters and indigenous and visitors who come to investors who come to invest in Benue State. So the man was picked from Abuja, and on their way, we have these people who are, because if they are kidnappers, they won't drug him because they would have loved to get their ransom.
Yes.
But what they did was they drugged him and threw him away because they couldn't beat.
Were you the one who picked him up?
Yes, we have volunteers with a good Samaritan, a young lady who picked him, who saw him, and she said she doesn't know what to do with him. So with other people around, we encouraged her Then we are also in another operation in Igbo. So we asked her to take him to just help us push him to the hospital. We will continue from there. So some other volunteer service people aid her. She took the person to the hospital, and since then she went to Boko, came back. She even used her money. But when the hospital management continued calling her to know that this operation you brought, how far, I think she became scared at that level. So at that level now we took up the responsibility to see how we can get. And the hospital really, with the coming of His Excellency, he has really put the hospital in shape and in place with manpower and dedicated and committed doctors. It's not rocket science. Seeing is believing. That's how I believe. I'm one of those people. I'm one of those critics. I don't just criticize. I criticize openly. What is wrong, I say it is wrong, sir. If it is right, it's right.
Yes.
And you can see now the man. It took the hospital almost 10 days for the man to regain back his consciousness, because the overdose of whatever substance they have given to him has really, really affected him.
So the man is a normal person now.
Yes, he's talking now. Even when he came back from his consciousness, he became aggressive. He wants to go back to Abuja. He was just calling only 3 names: Abuja, Kubo, like that. So we have to take pains. First of all, I want to commend the hospital for accepting him, to stabilize him to where he is today. And he couldn't even pay the bills now, because we have a challenge with the bill. So we have written an appeal to the CMD, to the CIMAC, to the welfare.
Okay.
No, what to do? The family member came. I have to go to the court to do an affidavit authorizing me to have access to his detail in his bank account, because he has a recent ATM card that will expire 2026. So which means he was mentally sound before they took him out of from wherever they picked him up. So with the affidavit now, we're able to put, in fact his picture has been trading online from Idoma Forum. Idoma Forum, they've called the chairman of Idomas. He came to the hospital once or twice, gave money for his feeding, but they didn't come back again, because trying to get his people is a problem. I know a lot of people are finding it difficult. So we've been our work, and we want to complement government efforts to ensure that citizens of Benue State, wherever they are, if they are in distress or they need support, we give them.
Yes,
so that's how we're able to talk to the hospital management. We're able to pay 30,000 out of over 100,000. So we are just waiting for the paper documentation, so that this afternoon we'll formally hand him over to his family member who are here. They will take him straight to his village in Okpoku local government, precisely Ichama. He's from the Ichama community. So that he can reunite with his family, because even after the Tesine fight, the brother make effort, went back to Kano to go and see whether he can find him. He couldn't find him. Even the senior brother's daughter, who is now about 42 years old, she's in Makodi and in Wadata, she didn't even know him. That means the man has left home long ago. So that's why we're even part of our mission. In our mission statement, we said we used to reunite victims with their family member, and we also thank the hospital for giving us that opportunity for stabilizing this man.
It's all right. That's a very huge achievement. You know, when life is involved, and when you are able to reinstall and reinstate a human being back to normal, I think that's one of the greatest services you can offer to humanity. We want to thank you so much and your team for that. Let's talk about road accidents and other general forms of accidents, and how to manage, because all accident cases automatically becomes an emergency. As soon as they occur, they become an emergency situation. And most of the times the issue is whether there are professionals around to manage these people properly. Sometimes mismanagement of the people could lead to death. Yes, or sometimes even if it's not that, it could lead to some medical conditions that may not be reversed, for some time. Now the question is, let's take it step by step. As a professional in handling, accident victims over the years, what do you think is the first thing to be done when there is an accident, be it domestic, be it a road crash or something?
Yeah, thank you very much. It's a very vital question. We have treated this in several fora in the state. You see, emergency management of accident victims. Accidents are categorized in many forms. We have the popular one that is called road accidents. We have the other one that is called domestic accident, and we also have industrial accidents. Those accidents occurs at the various places, like even we have plane crash is also an accident. They are very rare. It happens once in 10 years. In fact, sometimes in 5 years you don't hear of any air mishap. All those ones are accidents. They are also categorized under one platform. So the popular one is even the road crashes that everybody know. But there are other ones that people really need to know. Like in road accident victim rescue, you have to have a functional ambulance or a vehicle. Then fire under the road accident victim, you have a fire department for vehicle and extraction. Then we have police department for traffic control of roads to prevent accidents, and the same police will go and investigate what really caused the accident. Like we, just as I always say it, we are not involved in the investigating aspect of the road accident. Our primary interest is to ensure that life is safe from the crash center, from the crash site to the hospital. That is why you have the response. And in response to such people, you will be able to come to that, whereby if there is an accident, because we have what they call first respondent at the highways.
Yeah.
And the first respondent to an accident are the people who are living on the federal highway or state highway or local government roads built by government. Like now, we're enjoying good roads in Makurdi now. When the roads were bad, the accidents were limited. Now that His Excellency has...
No, when the roads were bad, the accidents were more.
No, when the roads were... I'm telling you, within the metropolis.
Okay.
I'm not talking about the highways.
Okay.
Because the highways too contribute to most of these accidents, where there are big potholes, where tanker conveying petroleum products are coming because of the roads are not good. By the time they enter the ditch, they fall one side, and it became a very serious thing. And if you pass the road in the daytime, it's better. And that's why Federal Road Safety Commission have warned drivers not to apply the highway once it is 6:30 to 7, because night driving is not advisable, because you may not know what you are going to see on the road. So what I'm trying to say now is that when our roads within the Makurdi metropolis are very bad, the Okadas try to manipulate, and vehicles don't speed at a certain level.
Okay.
But now that the Reverend Gentleman has come and has over, I used to do 16, but now I've seen there are more than 30 roads that are ongoing. In fact, if you leave Makurdi in a week and come back, you see another completion of one of the roads that His Excellency has graciously done. So we also appeal to road users, especially Okada riders.
Yes.
They are the worst affected. You see, like the other road in Lincoln, Inikwi Street Junction. I also want to appreciate the Ministry of Works. They have done the needful by putting a sign. There's a sign that says you should slow down. So that when you slow down, you look left, you look right, then you look left, you cross. Because there are stoppage. But because most of them don't go the other way around, they like using their road. And if you're coming, you will not know who is having the right of way.
Okay.
I would have just appealed maybe for further, in order to help more. The contractors and the ministry should also consider, once we are getting to the junction, there should be a bomb. Not this artificial bomb people will come and cut the roads that the government have done. What I'm trying to say, they should look for, there's a modern way of doing bombs.
Yes.
Before you get to the junction, you enter the bombs. Then when you get close to it, it will take you up and come down.
Okay.
You will know that you are supposed to limit your speed. So all those ones are under the road accident. Then emergency medical technician, that is EMTs or paramedics.
Yes.
If you are going into accidents, road accident victim, you must have a little experience. Even the communities too, the local people at the village too. We are already working hand in hand with some of the communities living on the federal highway where there are schools in it, so that we can be able to train them alongside road safety and Red Cross Society of Nigeria on paramedics. Simple techniques on how to evacuate an accident victim from the accident crash. But you see, now that we have been educating communities living on the federal highway, they are listening to us, they are watching us on the television. They have really, there is a tremendous change in attitude, because the attitudinal behavior of our people, this station and other media houses, radio stations, Radio Benue, Harvest FM, Brothers FM, were able to educate people,
yes,
and most especially the ones that people watch live and see people who are communicating to them. They are looking as if you are seeing them physically.
Yes.
Their attitudes have really changed, because those days, if an accident happened, the interesting aspect of it is that the people go for people's phone, they go for people's luggage. In fact, if you are unfortunate that you are carrying foodstuff, your name is Oyo State. Your name is sorry, because people attack those. If you have good wristwatches, footwears, they try to remove it from you, because this is what they are looking for. But now, we are able to educate the youth leaders in various communities living on the federal highway, because they are the first responders. They are the ones who call us. We are not magicians. So now we, 24 Hours NGO, we have made those volunteers as our own volunteer scouts, whereby once in a while we send them a recharge card. Once in a while we give them some incentives. If there are things that we got, maybe we get some donation. Even some of the IDPs that we normally go and visit them in the camp with items, clothes, shoes, and the rest.
Yes, but by now you're supposed to have team members across the 23 local governments, in such a way that if an accident occurs right now in Kasnala, without your ambulance going there, the community is making efforts to rush the person down to the best hospital. Because as you, from the way you speak now, anytime you are here, you are talking so much about teaching hospital, which means you have seen good facilities there that can help save lives. Now, for those who are not within the reach of these good facilities, how do you manage them?
Yeah, thank you very much. That's why we are also appealing to the state government to support us to fund, because I will tell you categorically clear that I have volunteers across the 23 local governments, and I also want to thank the federal government, whoever initiated the Federal Road Safety Commission. I know it's from the Wole Soyinka side,
yes,
that road safety became what it is today. And you see, they are federal government agency that have budget under their beck and call. Their budget, the federal government allocates budget to them, provide vehicles, provide manpowers, but they are still not sufficient. But I also thank my volunteer scout. We are in all these various local government. You have said we know spots that are accident prone, sharp bendings, potholes where people go excessively. So they have my numbers. Mostly, if you call that 211 or 222, the national emergency line,
yes,
the questions are too many. Who are you? Where are you calling from? What time did it happen? Where do you work? So most people who don't even have food to eat, talk less of putting credits on their phone, they won't have that patient. And if you call and your credit finish, they don't call you back. And that's what I want to, with time I will see when we pay Cosico to such agency.
Why is it that they don't call you back? Is it mean that they are not funded to do the course?
I don't know. They may not call you back because it has happened severally. So what they do now, so most people now, even I'm inside the country, I'm out of the country, I roam my numbers. Like when I was out of the country,
Okay, you roam them so that they can
yes,
connect to anything.
no, that's the only way. With technology now, we don't have any much problem. I don't need to be there physically. So once they call me, immediately, I also want to especially thank the sector commander of the Federal Road Safety Commission in Makurdi. 2 a.m. I call him. Anytime I call him, and he respond to me. Because if the people who are around Katsina, I mean, the other accident that happened where the traders are going to the market when the pickups were assaulted, I called him. When I called him, there was an accident. My scouts gave me the location of the accident. So he now called his men, and they responded to the accident. For those who they can stabilize in General Hospital, Katsina, we are there. For those whom they have to use oxygen from any of the private hospital to bring them to teaching hospital or Federal Medical Center, we are brought to Federal Medical Center where they were stabilized, and most of them will reunite them with their family members.
Yes.
Like now that we have, there is one that they brought from Yelwata. Only one woman cannot be identified because she is not carrying a phone. She doesn't have any means of identification. That's why I continue emphasizing on means of identification whereby people will carry. And if you don't have phones, if you don't have any means of identification, there are national identity card whereby you go is free. I don't think people pay money. Once you have it, you put it. People know their contact number and next of kin is on that card. It's not everybody that travels abroad that have international passport. It's not everybody that have driver's license. If you're not a professional driver, if you're not a car owner, you can't go and do driver's license. What are you doing it for? So, and it's not everybody that works in a government organization. Even those who even work in government establishment, there is neglect of you hardly I've done a census of such people. Out of 20 people, you hardly find 10 that have the workplace identity card. Either they don't carry it along with them, they just leave it carelessly. And that's why they are giving us more trouble. Because when that kind of person have accident, is unconscious, cannot communicate. How do you reunite him with his family member? That's why we put them on social media. Those who know them will come and say, we know this man, but please don't tell me it's me that direct you to his house or his family member. Please feel free to tell us so that we can also help people to make these people, keep them alive, because these are future leaders too.
It's all right. Well, I think we are due for a break, and I wish we had the pictures for some of these incidents so that we can show the people, but we need to blur them so that some viewers are sensitive to such pictures. Because really, what you have seen, some other persons may not see them.
That's why we are very careful about.
Well, I think when we come back, we'll still continue to engage with the founder 24 Hours Road, Accident Victims Support Initiative NGO here in Makurdi, talking about Gaddafi Asemanya Jr., who is the former, senior special assistant to former governor of Benue State on, critical infrastructure and public utilities here in Benue State. Let's go on a break. Welcome back to the program. This is Table Talk on Benue Television, and we are right here in the studios of Benue Television engaging with Honorable Gaddafi Asamanya Jr., who is the founder and CEO 24 Hours Road Accident Victim Support Initiative. He is to speak to us variously on some of the issues. But first of all, let's talk about the first aid aspect, because when you meet, an accident victim, the first thing, from what we are told way back in the primary school, is first aid is the first treatment given to an injured person. So let's talk about what are the first aid measures and how do we approach it precisely, because there is a way you apply the first aid and you may overdo, and there is a way you do it and at least you help the doctors from the beginning. So let's get to talk about them.
Yeah, thank you very much. You see, first aid for accident survivors and victims of road crashes may include a lot of things, because we're talking about the road accident. What about gas leakages in the house? What's response that lead to fire burn, that lose of lives and properties too?
Yes.
So what about industrial accident, where a worker is not provided with the safety protection kits? All those one, a lot of government should review all those companies that don't have first aid kits and protection kits that will prevent all those things. But like in road accident case is different. So those first aid that you're supposed to give for a first aid patient,
yes,
is for you to call. I will outline it.
Yes, please.
It's for people to understand that you have to call a help. You have to call an emergency line. In other part of the world, they call those line 911. So in Nigeria, we have what they call 211, 2222. That is the federal line whereby you can reach. Then you also either you call the emergency number of the Federal Road Safety Commission, or you call the police emergency line too, because they too respond. They respond very swiftly for the accident cases too. Like most of the accident cases, accident can be happening. You can have a gunshot. It's an accident too.
Yes.
Somebody can deliberately take a gun and shoot you. Just like in the last 1 month, we have a case of people shooting one person the other. Just like the young girl who operated POS. After closing, they shot her.
Yes.
And immediately.
Okay, you're talking about the lady in Garo Villa.
The lady in Garo Villa. And when because
I even wanted to ask you about that lady. Some persons allege that it was because of the response that was not done swiftly that the girl lost her life. That if they had responded immediately, there was room to save her life. I don't know whether you are privy to any information.
My brother, you see, in cases like that, it's very difficult because everybody is scared, apart from people like us who summon courage to do such. But if you watch the places, she is shot on her head region. Anybody knows that any bullet that goes to your head and neck, you are gone, and stomach too. Incidentally, we got a call from those my volunteer, those people around who have our numbers, because most people don't want to call police. Because if you call police, they say, "How did you know? Where did it happen? Come and give statement." That's what people are afraid. So I want to use this medium to appeal to people. You don't need to be afraid. Once the police want to know, they just want to know whether you have a little knowledge of how it happens, so that it will also help them in their investigation.
But you're also aware of the issue of the person reporting an incident sometimes becomes the first suspect.
We know that.
Yes,
we know,
yes.
But it's not as people think again. Civilization and people have gone beyond those time, because the police people have a lot of training program that they educate them, and every civilized policeman knows exactly what to do. And it's not like before that they will say, if you commit a sin, if my son commit a sin in Makurdi and run away, they will come and carry his parents and put behind counter. Gone are the days those kind of things happen. So like on that young lady's case, they called us. So what we did now, we also called the emergency number of the police, and the police people responded swiftly, and they took her to the hospital. But the doctor confirmed. It's only a doctor that can confirm somebody medically dead. Even sometimes those of us who even rescue accident victims on the road, you see like the case of our barrister that died with the Okada rider. You saw how they responded very well. But the doctor has to also certify, because we are not medical doctors to certify somebody dead. Sometimes you may be wrong. You say the man is dead, but the man is not dead. There are cases that we have taken people straight to the mortuary. They have taken people straight to the mortuary. 2 o'clock they wake up and sit down and be waiting for the mortuary attendant to come and open the morgue. So what we are trying to say now, in case of emergency here in Nigeria, there are some certain numbers of road safety and other emergency lines they call, but people often call us because they know that if it is the one we handle, we go. If it is the one we go in conjunction with the road safety and the police, we also go.
So what are the lines? Your lines? I'm not talking about the. You said and the general lines are. Is it 211?
Yes, 211.
And the other one is
221.
221.
Those emergency lines.
Fine. So now, how about the ones that people could reach out to you, especially people within Makurdi?
People within Makurdi, even across, even you can. Let me tell you interestingly, even the accident that happened in Nasarawa State, that is after Kadarku, we were the first respondent because a lot of people come to join us and say, but we're not based in Makurdi, we're based in Lafia. So once there is an accident, they communicate us, and we too we know the first people to call, whereby the victim will be attended to.
Okay.
So like our lines are available. Maybe in the course of the program.
No, you can start giving now because we might forget. You can give them maybe towards the end of the program.
Yeah.
We can.
Yes, our lines are just, you can reach us on 070-677-89962. I take that again. 070-677-89962. 080-20-666-009. We decided to choose a line that people can.
Okay, very easy to yes. Okay, that's 3 lines you have given.
I've just given 2 now.
Okay, 2.
The last one is 070-6852-3350.
Now, the other question is that when are you going to make these lines toll free? So that people don't use, even if in the midst of I don't have recharge card, I don't have airtime, they could still reach out to you.
The problem we are having now is that we have written to MTN and other network, and let me also inform you that it's not all the networks are available on the federal highway. So if you have MTN in one particular place, you may have Glo. Sometimes the Glo will not be active. So we have written to 3 of the major companies: the MTN Nigerian, the MTN, the Airtel, and the Globacom.
Okay.
So we are seeing how they can give us a free toll line, and we have also written our letter to NCC if they can give us. We are not competing with the federal government agency. NCC can also give us a free toll line whereby people can be reaching us. But I thank God with what the people are doing now. Some people don't even call; they just send the text and send the picture of the incident, and we take it up from there. So, but I know with time we are going to get there.
Yes, in other nations too. Before you go ahead with the first aid and other aspects now, in some other nations, what happens is that these lines can be reached with or without network.
Yes, that is why
What are you doing towards having your lines in such a state that, with or without, people in the remote areas where there is no
network,
little or no network, can still access you?
It's still communication and technology, just as I'm telling you. What we need to do is our doors are open and we have been appealing. I think our letter is has been sent to the Office of His Excellency for support, for partnership, so that we can be able to reach out for the good people of Benue State, the nook and crannies of Benue State.
Yes.
And you discover that there are some part of the state where you hardly hear there is any accidents. Those ones who are not competing with the vehicles on the major highway, and a lot of young men who are riding these bikes on the road, they don't even know whether you overtake by the right also. So they really need to educate all these motorcycle riders in the state. I know that they contribute significantly in the economy of the state by increasing the GPRS of the state, but I know it is not much, it's little. But most of them are breadwinners of their various homes. They use that to feed their children. They use that to do this thing, to train them in schools. So if you say you are going to take them off, in most states of the federation, you don't see where Okada operating in the states. In most states of federation. But I want to thank His Excellency. But we need to do well for them, because most of the accidents that people lost their life, the passengers is not wearing crash helmet. The rider is not wearing crash helmet. No side mirror for him to know the way to go. And most of them just jump into riding of Okada. So they really need to educate them. They need to organize a workshop to synthesize them and to also give them some basic tips of the Federal High Court. You see somebody overtaking a trailer on the bridge. What if you develop a mechanical fault as you are moving? You will get your chain stopped.
It's all right.
The trailer will crush you.
Yes, let's get back. You know, the most important part of this discussion is those first aid measures, which you mentioned just about 3.
Yes, you know,
yes,
just as I say, you must call the line.
Yes. So what are the other?
Then you must also, things, yes. If there's an accident, you have to also check the airwave, whether the person is breathing fine. If the person you met him lying flat,
yes,
would face down,
yes,
you know that person is not breathing very well. So that's why we say you check the airway breathing and the circulation of the ABC. That is ensure that the victim's airway is clear, yes, and there is breathing. That's why I always tell this my young men around the town. If there is an Okada accident, you see people, they have formed a cycle.
Okay.
So you are not giving him enough time, enough space so that he can breathe very well. You understand? People should clear away so that the person can breathe very well. Then you stabilize the neck and the spine of the victim. Okay. Then the victim, if he's unconscious or has head injury or neck injury, because those are the common ones.
So what if the victim is bleeding excessively?
I'm coming to that one.
Okay.
Then head injury, you have to see how you stabilize him in a position whereby if you touch him little, he will shout. So if there is no way you carry him, you see that slate there.
Yes.
You look for a slate, a plank. You push him gradually, light on top of it. Then people will now support by lifting him up gradually into a vehicle. Then once they take him to the hospital, the doctors will be able to know. By the time they do the scanning and the X-ray, they will now know which part of the body has been dislocated or there is fracture, either on the neck side or on the jaw or on the head. Especially the head injury is more difficult. And I also want to use this opportunity to thank the CMD again. He has also I will thank the CMD. Also
which are the CMDs? We have CMD Federal Medical Center. We have CMD.
No, there's no CMD Medical Center. There's Medical Director.
Okay, Medical Director.
The nomenclatures are different.
Okay, they are different. It's okay.
CMD is the teaching hospital.
Okay.
Medical Director is the Federal Medical Center.
All right.
Then Medical Director is the other private people too.
Okay.
Let the people know. So once it comes like that, the governor has made sure that the MRI scanning machine is functional in the teaching hospital.
Okay.
As I say now, it's functional. So once you put that one, then the most worrisome aspect of this again is the bleeding. Okay. Once a patient had an accident and maybe is bleeding from here, you will now look for a pressure. Bandage. If you don't have bandage, look for a serious rope that you can tie the hand. Okay. You can even tear the cloth and wrap him very well so that you ensure that the blood is not passing.
Okay.
But little will still pass. Then you apply pressure on the wound to control the bleeding.
Okay.
You understand? You apply pressure to control the bleeding, and once there is pressure to control the bleeding, it will take him to the nearest hospital. Because the other person that had an accident in Boku Road, that is what we told one of our volunteer scouts to do. They are being trained by Red Cross and other reputable bodies. We too now we are also training people too, so that everybody can acquire that knowledge. Then you provide comfort and pleasure for him, that you be giving him hope, that you are resuscitating him. You talk calmly with him, talk to the victim calmly, and if you talk harshly to him, he will think the whole life is gone.
Okay.
Then you also check for injuries, because you'll be interested in seeing where this thing is happening to him. You may not know whether.
So how do we suspect internal bleeding? Because this is one of the issues that have killed several victims. So what are the signs that a victim is bleeding internally?
That internal bleeding of a thing is just like the one that happened yesterday precisely. A Hilux knocked down one of these faith-based faith organization, one of a church member who was either going to church, and he had an accident with Okada, and it was very bad. If you look at him physically, he didn't sustain these physical injuries. Like say you see plenty this thing coming out, but because he had an internal bleeding, so the doctors brought equipment to see how they can evacuate, how they can stabilize it, but he couldn't make it. Sometimes you can have a very hard knock from the vehicle. It will damage your internal system. Your internal organs are damaged completely. So that one, with the scan, you can see it too. And then we're also talking about people to provide basic life support for victims. That is basic life support for victims, not breathing or not breathing normally. Begin with if the person is not breathing well, you can open his mouth, put your mouth with him, blow air to him, and if he's not coming up, you put your hands like I've said this several here. You continue pressing him to kickstart him back to life. So when you press him very hard, he can kickstart back to life, and then you keep the victim warm with use of blanket and other material to keep the victim warm. That is, there are some victims from the crisis center, they are feeling shivery. So if there's a blanket, you cover them so that the cold will not affect them. Then you put them in a vantage position whereby, and any victim that sustained serious injury, either on the leg or on the neck, any part of his body that you touch, he will report, he will respond by shouting. But for those who are unconscious, if you look at him critically, you know that if his leg is straight, he goes like this. If his hands is straight, he goes like this. You know that there is a fracture. Then for the head injury, you will now experience his face start swelling up. You know that something is wrong with his head. So those ones are the minor first aid for common road crashes.
So how about
like for common road crashes, I want to say the common ones that people normally know is head injury, stabilizing the neck, spine, control the bleeding, and monitor the signs of his consciousness, and because of trauma or traumatic brain injury. Traumatic brain injury, those ones sometimes you can't even know exactly what. For you who is a local person, who is not a medical professional, or who is not trained on paramedics, you don't even know it, but you discover that sometimes blood is coming out from his ears, his nose, his mouth. You know that this one is a critical issue. So then for burns, like
that's fire.
Fire can be fire, water. They're just bad enemies.
Okay.
But we can't do without them. Especially gas. Before people go to sleep, they should ensure that whoever, either the house help or the family member who use the gas, to ensure that the gas is really tight.
Yes.
The host. Because
family close.
And especially those who allow their host to reach 6 months, 1 year. At the end of the day, if you touch it like it will break. From there, the gas will leak. You'll be cooking, the gas is, if you off it, the gas will be leaking. And by the time the gas leaked, it will spray around the whole house. By the time you wake up in the morning, say, okay, let me go and do my children 1 or 2 things. As you light, boom, you're the first person. I think recently we have a gas explosion in Benue State, and it's so bad.
Right. How about cases of a boat mishap where people are drowned?
That boat mishap.
How do you handle people who are almost
that
drowned?
boat mishap is a big headache, because if you go to the Buruku junction where they carry, you go to Warata, those women selling fish, they go across to a place called Agitashi, Akpanaja, Ujuo. The people will be surprised. This is where we live, so we know all those places. None of those people paddling those canoe are on life jackets. So it's something that the government need to also look into critically by providing life jacket for them. They can subsidize it too. As you are using, you cross. The other people coming back will use and cross. I remember I've been calling on like now we have a son of Benue who is a chairman of House Committee on Inland Waterway. I'm doing him a letter. The former Commissioner for Youth and Sport, Honorable Ojotu, Right Honorable Ojotu, who is I think the chairman committee on inland waterways. I'm doing him a letter to see how he can also provide life jacket, because he is from that axis.
Yeah.
He's from Apaga too.
Yes.
And so that they can provide life jacket for this transport people, transport by the transportation by the sea.
Okay, by the river or sea.
By the river or sea, or by any means. Because if you go to the Buruku aspect of it now, you see people going. But if you see the international community coming, or the NGOs, or the World Health Organization, or the UNICEF, or MacArthur Foundation coming to cross water, you see them with their safety. They come with it because they know that if this thing capsized, people will die. How many people know how to swim in Benue State? But our people just neglect that. So I'm using this medium. I think I will talk to my former colleague, who is a current assembly member from Logo, Honorable Gigi. He's my former colleague.
Yes.
We served during the Suswan era. God has made him a member representing Logo in the Benue State House of Assembly.
It's okay.
So that he can also look at this.
And thank God that there is a bridge construction along that river by the federal government. So I think
that one will take. It's not a day job.
But at least there is hope.
There is hope at the end of the tunnel. But let us prevent any boat mishap.
It's okay.
Before the bridge can be put across.
It's all right. Our time is already gone, but I'll just give you 5 seconds to say a word to those who may be privileged to handle accident victims, to be the first persons to be there, what they need to do. Just 5 seconds, because we do not have time anymore.
Yeah, thank you very much.
5 seconds, please.
I want to appeal to our first respondents. A first respondent can be anybody, even a passerby, just like the Good Samaritan that exhibited her humanity to mankind.
Yes.
By seeing a man lying on the road. Once you see an accident case, first of all, you remove him, because you remove him from the accident crash to a safe place.
Okay.
Because if you leave him on the center of the road, another vehicle will come and run into him.
That's okay.
Even you that is there too, you
may
will
become a victim.
So we should also try and get numbers of the Nigerian police and other security agency who are sort of the responsibility, and other NGOs, because if you have such numbers, you are saving a life.
It's all right. Well, I want to thank you so much, Honorable Gaddafi Asamanyan, who is the founder and CEO 24-hour road accident victims support initiative, and of course, former senior special assistant to the governor of Benue State, former governor of Benue State on critical infrastructure and public utilities. I'd like to thank you so much for being here once again to shed light on how to handle accident victims and the response to it. I appreciate you for coming.
Thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to be here.
And so, of course, as you have always called for support, we are also joining you to call for support. People who are spirited enough and love humanity could support what you're doing so that you could do more of what you have been doing. I'd like to appreciate all of you for being a part of the program. And remember that Wednesday promises to be equally thrilling and captivating. In the meantime, save a life when there is an accident. My name is Japhet Kwahom. Goodbye for now.